Hello, good afternoon. My name is Debbie Jacobs, and I wanted to do a video about accomplishing healthy self esteem. And basically, the way to accomplish healthy self esteem in adults is different than the way to accomplish healthy self esteem in kids, but they can work simultaneously. So it actually, both child and parent benefits from the same situation. And essentially, right now, how we have it is the parent is right, which leaves the invalidation to the child. And children need validation for healthy self esteem, not parents. Parents take the validation because they have low self esteem. And that's how they've learned to validate themselves, by being right. And now they're in a position of power. They can always be right, so they make themselves right. Listen to the parent, listen to me. I am right. Do what I say. That all perpetuates low self-esteem because of the temporary validation that it creates. But that's not how you validate yourself, and you're invalidating your child. That's the problem right there. Invalidation leads to low self-esteem. And when you were a child, your parent was always right. You had the invalidation that led to your low self-esteem, and you learning to validate yourself by being right, which is the incorrect way to validate yourself. It is, validation of the ego self. It fuels the ego self. And with low self esteem goes negative thinking. Healthy self esteem goes with positive thinking, because it's our negative thoughts that shoot down our own self esteem. It's our negative thoughts that make us feel bad about ourselves. And we haven't learned how to validate ourselves because we've learned invalidation. And the only way that we validate ourselves is by being right. But that's wrong. So basically, the way to help children build their self esteem is the same way to help. Well, it isn't the same way, but by the reverse, instead of the parent being right and the children being wrong, the way to healthy self esteem in parents and in children is for let the child be right and the parent be wrong. Yes, the parent being wrong builds their self esteem from low self esteem to healthy self esteem, because it's through the process of being wrong, through the invalidation that we've always kind of, fought against. When we embrace the invalidation, we give ourselves the chance to build self validating skills. Kids can't build self validating skills if they only know invalidation. That's why they need the validation, so they can build self-validating skills for their healthy self-esteem. But parents can build self-validating skills. You just got to do it. You just got to say, okay, instead of being validated, I'm going to validate myself. An adult can accomplish it. Children can't. And basically, now let me tell you something. Another thing, right, that gets in the way of our healthy self-esteem is our negative thoughts. And really, it's any instance where we make ourselves feel bad about ourselves. when we invalidate ourselves. So to accomplish a healthy self-esteem, not only does it take overcoming, the validation situation. And let me tell you something. When you learn self-validating skills, being wrong doesn't invalidate you anymore. And another thing is that when your child, and you know that when your child is wrong, it's okay and they need to be validated, not invalidated, because invalidation leads to low self-esteem. It's not the validation. I mean, yes, they need the validation, but what's really damaging to the low self-esteem or ends up with low self-esteem is the invalidation. So you want to make sure that your children get validation, not invalidation. And the way that you know that your kids are getting the validation, not invalidation, is by you saying, okay, I'll take the invalidation so they don't get invalidated, because you have self-validating skills. You've already, accomplished being wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. You have no problem. It doesn't even matter to you. It makes it so much easier for you to be wrong than for them to be wrong. So that's one component, is validation. Huge, huge. Can't accomplish it, if you're invalidated. You have to know validation. And validation is, making your child feel good about themselves, feel good in their accomplishments. It builds up their self-esteem. And you want to do this over the course of their development. Children are in the developmental phase of their life for 18 years. In my opinion, when you send them off to college, they need to be the person that with all effective coping skills, a healthy self-esteem, and positive thinking, and not on the path to mental illness and breakdowns and flaws and ineffective coping skills. So you don't want to just validate them and then invalidate them when they do something wrong. They end up invalidated, not validated. So you don't want any invalidation in their childhood. And let me tell you something, that doesn't mean that a child is always going to be right, but if they're wrong, you just teach them. You don't invalidate them. You say, it's okay that you were wrong. This is the right answer, and we need to do this way, but it's just having more consideration and having consideration to their feelings, because invalidation, creates rejection. It creates negative feelings in children. They don't feel good about themselves. They feel invalidated. So, when a parent accomplishes their own validation and healthy self-esteem, then you know how to create it in your children, and what it needs and what it takes. And let me tell you something that, it takes, we can't beat ourselves up. We can't put ourselves down. We can't think we're not good enough. We can't, make us feel bad, make us feel guilty. We can't live in shame of our actions. All of that is bad for our healthy self-esteem, and it's all got to go. We can't think that we're not pretty enough. We can't think that, we're not smart. We cannot invalidate ourselves in any way. We cannot beat ourselves up for making a mistake. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. And let me tell you something, when you have self-validating skills, you won't, But to get to the healthy self-esteem from low self-esteem, negative thoughts, and negative ineffective coping skills, we kind of have to, peel back the layers. We have to we have to go through all the negativity to get to the positivity and to get to the healthy self-esteem. And it's worth it. And let me tell you something, our coping skills don't really lend itself to healthy self-esteem. If I get angry, that's not helping me. That's creating negative thoughts, and I'm feeling bad about myself afterwards. If I have fear or insecurity, I'm not feeling good about myself. If I have worry, I'm creating negative thoughts. Healthy self-esteem lives in positive thoughts. And to create positive thoughts, you need to create positive, effective coping skills. So you have coping skills that create positive outcomes and positive thoughts. If somebody calls me a jerk, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm not going to take it personal. I'm not going to invalidate myself. I'm not going to, get angry at them. I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to let it go. And guess what? I saved all this upset and anger and frustration and unhappiness. And I maintained my happiness. I maintained my positivity. I didn't get upset. I didn't generate negative thoughts. I said, okay, they think I'm ugly. Okay, who cares? I'm good. I'm good with myself. Self-validating skills. So healthy self-esteem really is like, the crown, on the beautiful, authentic self. It is the crown on the transformation of self. When you have healthy self-esteem, you have accomplished your healing and your transformation of self from your ego self to your beautiful authentic self with positive thoughts and positive effective coping skills, because you need them to accomplish a healthy self-esteem. And let me tell you something, it takes changing your thoughts, so that there's a big there's a lot of steps involved in changing your thoughts. And primarily it revolves around changing your coping skills, but then there are other ways that you want to just change your perspective also. um, it's really worth it to go through the process of healing. The process of healing is the process of getting rid of the negativity and awakening the positivity, our authentic self. We're meant to go through life with a positive perspective, not a negative one. A negative one comes from our hurt. And when we're hurt, we have low self esteem. And when we have low self esteem, we have negative thoughts and negative, ineffective coping skills. And let me tell you something, this is the culmination of our childhood. So anywhere, like to accomplish positive thoughts and healthy self-esteem and positive effective coping skills, you have over the course of 18 years to create it. And if you don't create it, you're going to create negative thoughts, negative, ineffective coping skills, and low self esteem, and hurt, and the ego self. And, you don't want that for your child. You don't want your child to be on the path of mental illness, of suicide, of troubled relationships, problems at work, like the negativity doesn't serve us. It's not intentional. It's the hurt, but really it is a big accomplishment to accomplish healthy self-esteem. It's a sign that you're okay. You feel good about yourself. You're all right. You got positive thoughts going. You have positive, effective coping skills. That's the way to live your life, not in your ego self. My ego self was depression, anxiety, and bipolar. I lived most of my adult life, in my unhealed pain, in my ineffective coping skills, in my negative thinking, and my hurt. And now I'm free and authentic and myself. That's it. Just the Debbie I was meant to be. So, all right, my name is Debbie Jacobs, and I hope you have a good day. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.